But we definitely have a lot to talk about. Nick Nade Fuquay will be here in just a couple of minutes. In the meantime, I am your friendly neighborhood wrestle gamer, Billy Boudreaux. And before we get started, guys and gals, today is a very special day because of the fact that today is my mother's birthday. And my mom does a lot. You know, she puts up with me a lot. She cares for a lot of kids, and it's not very often we get to tell her, you know, how much we love her and how much especially I think about her and everything that she's done for me. And when it comes to her birthday, it means a lot to me. So normally I always get my mom a kind of a joke gift card. But instead of a gift card, I got her this. Jacob, roll it. Birthday, Mom. I hope you liked it. I'm probably going to be dead meat when I get back home. Oh, man. But we got a lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, a lot to discuss, especially with what happened not only on Raw, but of course what happened with AJ Styles and Shane McMahon on Tuesday Night SmackDown, SmackDown Live, excuse me. Again, we're kind of in a hurry here, and walking into the frame right now, ladies and gentlemen, is Nick Nade Fuquay, and once again, our good friend Mark, he's still not feeling well, and he's still unable to join us this week. But Mark, just to let you know, man, we're still thinking about you, man. And in fact, we're still thinking about you. That I even kept your name in the show's opening. So
miss you, Mark.
So Jacob, can I get
you, Mark?
Can I get a glass of water?
Miss you, Mark.
So Nick, how's your week been?
My week has been swell. How about yours, Billy Boudreaux?
Well, like I said earlier, today's my mom's birthday.
Happy birthday, Billy's mom.
So I do appreciate that. And we are live on Twitch and on YouTube as I'm trying to get everything situated here because I was, like I said, we were all kind of scrambling last minute to get here. It's a typical week, but I gotta say, let's just go ahead and get right into Raw and SmackDown. And one thing I've said for the longest time on my YouTube channel, Nick, if Paul Heyman was not the mouthpiece of Brock Lesnar would not be in the cushy part-time job that he has in WWE right now.
Okay, and why do you think that? I mean, obviously...
Paul Heyman is the best hype man there is.
Surely.
There's nobody better than Paul Heyman. When it comes to mic skills, Paul Heyman can put over a mop into a main event. But Brock Lesnar just doesn't have the set skills to pay the bills when it comes to being on the microphone. So, I gotta say, I'm glad that Paul Heyman's with them. But Brock Lesnar...
Because he does help put over the match. And that's how they opened Raw this week. I mean, it didn't really do it for me. They pretty much just hyped the WrestleMania match. And, I mean, Paul Heyman is a master at it. You know, I mean, that's basically all they've gotten out of this feud so far. But, yeah, we already got our first call. And it's Corey.
Corey, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's the deal?
What is the deal, Corey?
Hey, Corey, did you get a chance to check out our new show intro?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, you missed out on something good.
Maybe we'll show it on the outro as well.
Oh, yeah, we can do that. But, Corey, also today is my mom's birthday, so we kind of had a little birthday party for her today.
Happy birthday to you.
So, what do you think about Monday Night Raw, Corey? We were just talking about Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, and I'm on the side of if Paul Heyman was not there with Brock Lesnar, Lesnar would not be in the spot that he is in WWE.
No.
Well, I mean, Brock Lesnar is the beast incarnate, mind you, and pretty much his job right now is just to look like a badass, and there has been rumors that Brock Lesnar has been wrestling, well, not rumors, it's, pretty much on WWE.com, but Brock Lesnar was wrestling Kevin Owens at house shows.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So, needless to say, there could be a feud possibly if Lesnar beats Goldberg and, then Kevin Owens gets his title rematch.
One thing I still don't understand is why he's still against the Pop when he's technically the heel in the angle.
He's the heel in the angle, right. I guess just because the crowds are kind of 50-50, a lot of people cheer for the heels.
Yep. Mark's in the chat room right now. He's wishing my mom a happy birthday, and he says he misses us as well.
So I guess the big story of Raw was that Stephanie McMahon wanted Mick Foley to fire somebody. So Corey, if you could fire anybody in the WWE, who do you think deserves to be fired?
Really, right now as we speak?
Yeah. Who sucks? Shouldn't be there.
The bottom line, Stephanie.
Stephanie, huh? So you agree with Mick Foley then, huh?
He needs to let that man run that, because my thing is, he can't wrestle no more, so why not let him run Raw?
Surely. Well, and to me, that was about the only highlight of Monday Night Raw. I thought the rest of it kind of dragged on and was a little slow for me. They had a couple highlights here and there, but the end of the show with Triple H coming out, that was somewhat of a surprise with him and Mick Foley kind of getting into it.
Did you notice when Mick Foley made his way to the ring how he was limping and everything like that? I think,
sure. He's about to have hip surgery.
So I think the way they worked that was to write Mick Foley off of TV so that way he can go in and do his hip replacement surgery.
Right. That is possible.
Oh, really? You have an hip surgery?
So you would get rid of Stephanie McMahon, Corey?
Yeah.
What about steroids McNeil? What about steroid McHall? Jinder Mahal.
Steroid Mahal. Royd Mahal.
Jinder Mahal?
Yep.
Yeah, because I don't like him and Rusev together.
So why do you think Stephanie, Corey?
Why?
Yeah.
Because look how she be doing the wrestling, man.
Yeah, it's just the constant, authority storyline where they...
Let me give you an example. Somebody won the belt. You're supposed to let them have it for about a year, right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Let me give you another example.
depends on the champion, I suppose.
For example, Bailey. Okay, Bailey won the belt. Now why they don't let her have it for like a year and then give it to her? So what's her name?
Well, Bailey just won the title and she still hasn't lost it yet. So, technically she could hold it for a year.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's never going to happen. They've been changing the titles back and forth like a hot potato, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But speaking of titles, have you seen the new U.S. and Intercontinental titles?
Actually, no, I haven't. Today's been like a really rambunctious day. I haven't been able to check out the news sites. That's why I didn't do any news this week. I do apologize about that.
Yeah, but they basically look like the world titles, only they have like a different colors and backgrounds. Like they have the big W, but
No.
like the United States title has like the American flag background, and then the Intercontinental title has like a world map kind of thing,
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I can understand for your
Neither
top
do I.
titles, for your WWE title and the Universal title, and of course for the women's and, well, now that I think about it, they've gone all down the line. I think the only belts that they haven't put that whole same symbol design is on the tag team titles. But
All right, but they have the uniform like little circle thing.
Yeah.
But well, you said where's the hardcore title, huh, Corey?
Yeah.
Which, speaking of which, happy Austin 316 day to you, March 16th. Stone Cold 316 just says, I just whipped your ass, right?
Yes, sir.
Open a can of whoop ass. Give you a Stone Cold stunner.
Yes,
What?
sir,
What?
I remember
What?
I remember them days.
You remember them days, huh?
You know, Stone Cold Steve Austin was the first guy who could ever put himself over with just using one word.
What?
Stone Cold.
Yeah, and he wasn't even hardly wrestling at the time, you know.
Nope.
So, but I think Stone Cold was just as great of a character as he was a good wrestler too, you know.
Yeah.
He was a good general manager, though.
Surely, yeah, I enjoyed him as a general manager, and like when him and Kurt Angle would go back and forth, and McMahon, like that was all pretty funny.
I like when he made Vince McMahon pee on it.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I could always, you'll never forget like him hitting McMahon with the bedpan in the hospital, or getting in a fight in the grocery store with Booker T.
I never noticed that.
You never saw him getting in the fight in the grocery store with Booker T?
That was around 2000, 2001, I believe.
I'm about to go online and look at it.
Yeah, check that out. That was a good little grocery store fight there.
Yep.
Which I wonder how much the WWE paid for that.
How y'all doing tonight, fellas?
We're doing pretty good, man. Did you have any other thoughts on Raw, or what about SmackDown, man?
But like with what happened with AJ Styles and Shane McMahon.
AJ Styles, yep. That was the big story on SmackDown.
Now let me ask y'all something. Now, okay, it's about what happened to Shane McMahon. All right. Shane McMahon got that lead. Y'all follow me so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say I beat one of y'all backstage or whatever, and I threw y'all into a car. And let's say the glass shatter all over y'all face or something like that.
Right.
That really did happen now. When they threw Shane McMahon into that car.
It could have been some type of fake glass, but you know, I mean, because I'm
Oh, that was real.
right.
That was real.
So,
That was real.
well, and that's what they're meant to do is sell that, you know. But ultimately, what were you getting at?
No, but I'm just saying. That was real. I'm just letting everybody know that was real. That really did happen.
Yeah. Like, and like I said, it could have been some type of alternate glass that they were using, you know.
It's very hard to say because of the fact that, you know, they tend to keep a lot of their secrets just that, secret, for when they work in their spots. So I really don't know per se as to how they worked that whole segment and how it was set up. But it's for what it was, it served its purpose, and that purpose was to set up the angle between AJ Styles and Shane McMahon for WrestleMania.
I don't like AJ Styles too much.
Really? Why not?
AJ, Court. Do you not see the T-shirt that I'm wearing on TV right now? Do you not see that? How can you not?
Why? Because look what he done there. And then he got fired that same night. So I'm glad.
And he did get fired. Does that mean he goes to Raw after WrestleMania?
Well, I don't think he's going to be fired per se, because remember at the end of SmackDown Live, Shane McMahon came out and said AJ Styles was upset he didn't have an opponent for WrestleMania. Well, now he does.
What kind of match? A regular match?
But he's still fired, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but think about it. Daniel Bryan is general manager, but Shane McMahon is a step above Daniel Bryan.
Well, just because he's fired from SmackDown is what they said. So, needless to say, what's going to happen is they're going to have SmackDown. AJ Styles is fired, and he'll end up showing up at the arena and jumping Shane. They'll fight and to build the match, and then after WrestleMania, I'm thinking he might go to Raw.
Mark,
he is
Mark,
their
I'm
top
not going to
star.
read that. I'm not going to read that, Mark. Something about beating, you know.
Beating Deborah.
No.
Hey, when we go do the WrestleMania predictions?
Probably the week of WrestleMania.
Probably the week of WrestleMania, Corey. But we do have pretty much all the matches. They've just about predictably made all the matches already, and it's 14 matches.
What's up to Christy26 in the Twitch.tv chat room? What's up, Christy?
All together this year?
Yeah, well, 14 matches right now. We got the Raw Women's title, SmackDown's Women's title, Raw Tag title, SmackDown's Tag, Intercontinental US title, Universal title, World WWE title. So, like 9 title matches. The Cruiserweight title. Then they got... What's that?
My baby on the way back.
Who's that?
The one that got an interest for the women.
Naomi?
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about whether or not she'll be there at WrestleMania right now.
It's a possibility. I mean, it's Alexa Bliss versus anybody on the SmackDown roster. So I think there's definitely going to be some surprises. Yeah.
It's everybody on the SmackDown roster. And right now,
I think there's going to be a couple surprises.
Yeah, because right now there's only 5 women.
Possibly even Asuka. You know, maybe dropping the title at
NXT
TakeOver.
TakeOver.
Amber Moon gonna end up with that belt.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, it really is.
I predict it. I'm calling it.
So who's your pick so far for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal?
Who all in it?
Well, really the only confirmed entrants are, I think, Mojo Rawley, Big Show, who else? Apollo Crews.
Ziggler might be in it, I think.
Ziggler. Let's see. I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking, like, right now, Braun Strowman doesn't have anything going on, and neither does Samoa Joe. So maybe throw them in there as well.
I think the usage of Braun Strowman will all depend on what they do with him next week against Roman Reigns. Because for some reason, and it's just gnawing at me a little bit, and I want to throw it to Christy and Mark in the chat rooms as well as Evil Deeds for Life, if you guys are still there. I get the feeling that they might be turning the Reigns-Undertaker match into a triple threat by including Braun Strowman. I don't know why. It's just I don't know. It's just a gut feeling that I have. Because considering the fact that Braun Strowman backed away from The Undertaker the previous week, and then Braun Strowman blindsides Roman Reigns out of nowhere, and then they're going to have another match next week. I just get the feeling that The Undertaker is going to make his presence known in the match, and then it could ultimately lead into the match becoming a triple threat match.
You might be right, though.
Evil Deeds for Life says it would be good to see AJ and the club back together, and Finn Balor joins the club. How nice would that be? And Christy agrees with that one. And Evil Deeds said that would be a great three-way with Undertaker, Braun Strowman, and Roman Reigns.
When Finn Balor coming back?
Who?
Finn Balor.
Word is he's already back doing some live house shows right now to get him back into in-ring shape and the whole spiel of things. As far as coming back on TV, I would say probably sometime before WrestleMania. And if we don't see him before WrestleMania or even at WrestleMania, then definitely 100% the night after.
The night after WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Where they gonna be at that night?
Well, I know WrestleMania is in Orlando, and normally they have the Monday Night Raw following WrestleMania always in the same city, but just at a different venue. So it's just a really, off the top of my head, guess about them being in Orlando on Monday Night Raw. I don't know if anybody in the chat room could verify that for me.
Yeah, they'll be in Orlando, probably where the Orlando Magic play.
They ain't got no more tournaments coming up?
They were talking about having a women's tournament later this summer.
Yeah.
That sound like a winner.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And bringing, they signed some Japanese woman recently. I read about it, and they say she's one of the best in the world as well.
For what, for WWE?
Yeah, I think they'll probably put her through NXT, kind of like they did with Asuka.
She might be good, though.
Yeah, well, I would imagine so. And, I mean, they're probably going to be, they're searching for women probably all over the world, you know.
Now when that gonna start? Like the women's.
I would bet sometime in June. Well, that's just a rough guess.
Maybe June, around SummerSlam sometime.
Yeah.
Well, Corey, it's been good having you on the show, man. But we're going to go ahead and move on into Raw and SmackDown and talking some WrestleMania stuff. But we hope to hear from you next week, man.
All right, no trivia?
Let's see. Trivia, WrestleMania trivia. What you got, Billy?
Who was in the main event of the very first WrestleMania?
Ooh.
One of them was Ric Flair.
Bonk.
Nope.
WrestleMania 1.
Ric Flair was busy holding the WCW World Heavyweight Championship.
It might have even been NWA at that time.
Yeah. So he was. Let me put it to you like this: in the '80s, Hulk Hogan was World Wrestling Federation, and Ric Flair was the National Wrestling Alliance. So Ric Flair was nowhere to be seen for WrestleMania 1.
But he did just say one of the names that was in the main event.
Ric Flair.
Yeah, brother.
It was Hulk Hogan.
No, Hulk Hogan. And
I'm gonna get you, sucker.
Nope.
Ultimate Warrior.
Nope. Ultimate Warrior didn't really debut in World Wrestling Federation until 1987. WrestleMania 1 happened in 1985. He was knee deep in an angle with the Hot Rod, Roddy Piper, and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. And it was Paul Orndorff.
And Cowboy Bob Orton.
Yeah, but who was technically on the side because of his infamous cast.
And Hulk Hogan's partner?
Was Mr. T.
Oh, Mr. T.
WrestleMania 1. So.
Yeah, but we're gonna talk next to the.
All right, man.
All right. Good talking to you, Corey. Thanks for the call, man.
Yeah. All right.
Have a good night, man.
All right.
And Christy had it right in the chat room as well. So
she ended up getting it?
Yeah, she ended up getting it. But, yeah, again, to think that WrestleMania 1, all the way back in 1985, could develop into what's called the grandest show of the entire year for the WWE. It's really just become a spectacle for WWE, and one would say probably in all of entertainment, because there's always a lot of fuss around WrestleMania time, especially with what WWE does.
Well, it's the fifth biggest event in the world, behind the Super Bowl, the Winter and Summer Olympics, or Winter Olympics, the, World Cup, and then it's WrestleMania.
Yep. So, well, let's get back to Monday Night Raw, because we definitely had a lot to digest.
All right, and as we said, Lesnar and Heyman came out and hyped the WrestleMania match, which I'm thinking is going to end up being the last match of the night and the main event.
You don't think that that Orton and Wyatt aren't going to main event? Because technically the WWE World Championship is the bigger title.
I think that makes more sense, but I honestly, in Vince McMahon's mind, I'm seeing Goldberg and Lesnar closing the show.
Do you think so? You think that's because that Lesnar and Goldberg could be a bigger draw than Orton and Wyatt?
Pretty much. Maybe not Randy Orton, but Bray Wyatt. And I agree. I agree with you as far as the WWE title should be more important.
Yeah. What's up to brother Chauncey Bullock in the YouTube chat? How you doing, Chauncey?
Yep. But other than that, they had Stephanie and Mick Foley. They had kind of a thing where Mick had to fire somebody before the end of the night. So, if anything, I guess who would you have fired on Raw? If you had to fire somebody.
If anything, because of the fact that they're not doing anything with him, Jinder Mahal. Basically, he's just there to be there. And not only that, but also probably get all the roids in his arms, because every week the dude's got more veins in his upper body than should be humanly possible.
Or here's another one. How about Summer Rae? Whatever happened to her?
I don't know. We haven't seen hide nor hair of her ever since the draft.
Yeah, I mean, she had a couple matches after the draft, but
not that I know of.
Yeah, I remember a couple matches, even if it was like on Superstars or something like that. But she had a couple matches, but I don't really remember. Well, I guess she just kind of fell off the face of the earth. Maybe she got hurt, But they pretty much used 4 women, or maybe 5, including Dana Brooke, on Raw.
Well, speaking of that.
Yeah, that was the next thing. We had Sasha Banks against Dana Brooke. And it was pretty much a quick match, huh?
Yeah, because first, wasn't the original plan supposed to be Sasha Banks versus Charlotte? And if Sasha Banks wins the match, then she gets into the Raw Women's Title match. So why was there a change? Why was there something different? Was Charlotte just not ready to go this week, or did they just come up with a different plan? Because the face turn of Dana Brooke, I don't know how they're going to factor that into a storyline, if they do at all.
Right. Well, maybe they throw her or she's going to cost Charlotte the win at WrestleMania, possibly.
What's up to my very good friend Ryu the Squirrel in the Twitch.tv chat room. Ryu, how you doing? Welcome to the show tonight. Ryu, by the way, today is my mom's birthday, so we've been kind of having a little bit of a party before the show tonight. But yeah, I just don't get it. Could this be a way of them trying to sneak Dana Brooke in there and try to make it a fatal 4-way?
Well, I mean, what about Nia Jax? Because that's really the big question here. I mean, because she came out and had a match later on in the night. Nobody really cared. But ultimately, she thinks that I guess she just talked to Stephanie, but she thinks she should be in the title match. And I don't know. Actually, she did beat Nia. Nia disqualified. Okay, so Nia Jax pretty much crushed Bayley.
Yeah.
And got disqualified later on in the night. But does Nia Jax belong in the women's match at WrestleMania?
Definitely. She's
Fatal 4-way.
Yeah, she belongs there. But so that's why I'm kind of questioning the way they did everything, because I know originally it was supposed to be Banks and Charlotte, not Banks and Dana Brooke. So I don't know why they decided to do that. But you got to include Nia Jax in there. But then again, when people kind of compare the Raw match with the SmackDown match, they might start to say it's going to look too similar to each other. So, but we still don't have a definite answer as to what the match is going to be for the SmackDown Women's Championship, whether it's going to be a gauntlet match, a battle royal.
I think it's going to be just like the one in New Orleans, where it's just all the women and the first one to get a pin.
Yep, and Rhea, I'm doing just fine. Thank you very much for asking, and once again, thank you for stopping by in the show tonight.
Which, after the Sasha Banks, which actually, I wanted to bring this up, how Sasha Banks rolled up Dana Brooke with the tights, and Sasha Banks has been kind of doing some heel-type moves,
Yeah, I know when she was facing Nia Jax, I believe at Fastlane, she was supposed to grab the ropes, but the ring positioning, she couldn't do it.
Okay.
So that's why a lot of people are saying that the roll-up
and
at Fastlane...
she cost Charlotte the title, so...
Yeah, but again, she was helping the face win.
Right.
So,
well,
not really heelish.
It's an easier one to beat, pretty much, like they've been saying, So they're building it up for her to turn heel.
What do you think is more convincing, a face Sasha Banks or a heel Sasha Banks?
I mean, I enjoyed the heel Sasha Banks. We haven't seen the heel Sasha Banks on the main roster yet.
Well, they tried for a little bit, I believe.
Like in the very beginning, maybe.
Yeah, when they first brought her in, and she was.
But she was over with the crowd, so they ended up turning her face.
Yeah, but she was still working heel when they put her with Naomi and Tamina.
Right, that's true. So after that, we had cruiserweights. Which I imagine they'll probably get a match with all the cruiserweight. Either that or they'll all be in the battle royal.
No, there was supposed to be a fatal 5-way on
205 Live, and Austin Aries won.
Yeah, I kind of expected that. When the guy's kind of returning, he's kind of pushed himself in. into the face of the champion and you don't work the angle around him, that's kind of stupid to do.
Well, they just wanted to make it to where like he actually has won an important match to deserve a title shot. But you know, ultimately, WrestleMania is what I was talking about. Is what they're gonna do with all of the other cruiserweights. You know, possibly throw them in the battle royal. Maybe give them their own little match. You know, I'm not necessarily sure. Maybe like a number one contender match, like a ladder match, like Money in the Bank or something.
Well, to see them in a ladder match for anything would be absolutely phenomenal, considering how talented they are.
Surely, and I mean they're not doing the Intercontinental title ladder match this year, so might as well. Let's see. So we had T.J. Perkins, Akira Tozawa, Brian Kendrick, and Tony Nese, which they were kind of just using those guys to set up the Fatal 5-Way. On the 205 Live, but ultimately the heels ended up getting the win. Tony Nese, I think, it was just to kind of put him over for the Fatal 5-Way. Kevin Owens did a quick little spotlight promo again. Had Samoa
I like those.
Yeah, they're good. Samoa Joe tag teamed with them to go against Chris Jericho and Sami Zayn.
Christy says Tony Nese is awesome.
Yeah, Nese is, what do they call him? The
premier athlete.
Premier athlete. Yep. Do you think we see Samoa Joe and Sami Zayn at WrestleMania?
I would not be surprised to do it because technically it would give Samoa Joe and Sami Zayn something to do for WrestleMania, but it's got to be an all-out good match, not like what they had last week.
Sure, like and maybe even make it like no DQ or weapons or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, because they worked some good matches before in NXT, and I'm not sure if El Generico and Samoa Joe ever worked in Ring of Honor before. I'm not 100% positive on that, but I've seen Samoa Joe and Sami Zayn do some great main event stuff on NXT, and I would like them to transition what they did on NXT onto the main roster. There's so many good stuff, so many good things they've done with NXT that I would like them to transition into the main roster, but WWE just wants to have their own boot up their ass and not do it.
Well, right, as far as they could have longer matches, you know, where they can build the storyline up a little bit.
I think Christy's got a crush. So you no longer have a crush on Roman Reigns? Your new crush is Tony Nese now, Christy?
Aha. Tony Nese. So this number one contender tag for the tag team titles. End-Zone Cass against Cesaro and Sheamus. I called it last week, I believe, that there's going to be something go down where it's going to end up being a triple threat. And that's exactly what ended up happening. Anderson and Gallows came out and kicked both of them at the same time, double disqualification. And then later on, you know, they booked the triple threat at WrestleMania.
Christy, she says, now Reigns and Rollins are still my oddies. But now you kind of eyeballing Tony Nese a little bit, aren't you?
Add him to the list. You just made the list. You made Christie's list.
Chauncey also wants to let us know that LEX has returned to Impact Wrestling this week, which I believe was tonight. And he also says, my power with obsolete last week for today.
Okay.
I don't understand. I think that was something to do with Matt Hardy. But
delete.
Yeah, something to that extent. So, Ryu, I hope you're not getting bored. She doesn't follow wrestling too much.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's see. Jinder Mahal, speaking of Royds Mahal, against Roman Reigns. Why?
Time filler.
Yep. But the Undertaker's music came on, distracted Roman Reigns. Jinder Mahal tried to, do his thing, but Roman Reigns did his little Superman punch, and then he called out Undertaker, and then Shawn Michaels came out.
I thought that was a nice surprise to see Shawn Michaels out there instead of the Undertaker, considering the past history that Michaels has had with Undertaker. WrestleMania 25 being probably one of the best HBK Undertaker matches I have ever seen, much better than what they did at WrestleMania 26.
I think it's 25, actually.
No, they did 25 and 26.
The 26.
Yeah, 26 is when he got retired.
Okay. Which that one, both of them were really good.
And Christy says, HBK will always be my sexy boy. I can't believe you just made me say that.
I'm just a sexy boy.
And Ryu says, I always be chasing that Undertaker.
But Roman Reigns is really trying to act the heel part here, huh?
Yeah, I've noticed that. I think they're trying to embrace the fact that he's got a lot of heat with the crowd. And I think that would probably be the best move they could do creatively with Roman Reigns' character, is to kind of make him into that heel that everybody hates. And when you're a heel that everybody hates, then technically you're doing your job.
Surely.
Because your job is to get everybody to hate you. And the way they're working the angle right now with Reigns and Undertaker, Reigns is definitely the heel. Considering everything he said, that he's going to be the one to retire the Undertaker at WrestleMania.
It's his yard now.
Yeah.
But as Roman Reigns was leaving, Braun Strowman pretty much laid him out.
Which again goes to my theory about the possibility of the match becoming a triple threat, which we discussed with Corey on the phone a few minutes ago.
But the only thing about that is that Braun Strowman has no beef with The Undertaker.
Oh, Ryu says, hearing me say sexy boy got me rolling around laughing. Day has been made, LMAO. I'm so glad you got a nice laugh.
Sexy boy.
Because you're never going to hear me say that again until next week.
Yes, indeed.
Because he'll trick me into saying it.
We had Arya Daivari against Austin Aries in Aries' Raw debut.
Yeah, I think they just did that to put Aries over and make him look good.
Yeah, it was a showcase.
And of course, Aries looked in phenomenal shape.
He did.
You didn't miss a step, and I think.
And I saw highlights of the Fatal 5-Way, and it was really good. I mean, they had a bunch of spots.
Christine, first off, no, and secondly, if you remember back a few months ago to a caller we had by the name of Weird Paul, and he called into the show asking, why isn't Austin Aries on the main roster because he's so talented? Well, Weird Paul, if he's still watching the show somehow, well, he's on the main roster now, and he's definitely earned his spot. He's really probably one of the if I have to name the top two cruiserweights right now on 205 Live, right off the bat, the first two names that come to mind are Neville and Austin Aries.
I would agree. And those are the two biggest names, especially.
Yeah, two biggest names as well, yes.
I think Jack Gallagher is
earning his spot.
Definitely earning a spot at the table. Even Tony Nese, T.J. Perkins, which T.J. Perkins gets crickets in the crowd. Obviously Brian Kendrick deserves the respect he gets. Akira Tozawa's coming along nicely.
He's really starting to get over with his, this ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, and Rich Swann is definitely pretty much masterful in the ring as well. But
I'm pretty sure I just gave Christy and Ryu another good laugh.
Which, speaking of which, Cedric Alexander is going to be out for 5 months.
What happened?
I'm not necessarily sure. I know he's injured. So, out 5 months.
Well, on next week's show, guys, we'll try to have a follow-up on that story as to what happened with Cedric Alexander.
All right. And Jack Swagger was released.
Well, there's a lot of conflicting stories about that because there are some tweets that are saying that he was released, and there's others that are saying that that he wasn't. He may have requested for it, but he wasn't released. So there's really no definite way, because one side is saying that yes, Swagger was granted his release, and then there's another side that's saying that even though people are saying that Swagger was asking for his release, he was not granted that said release. And speaking of which, Dutch Mantel, a.k.a. Zeb Coulter, made his debut on Impact Wrestling last week.
Aha.
He's attempting to make Impact... Christy is... No, I'm not going to reject Christy, but she's also saying that Rusev is out for 5 months, too? Is that real?
He said he was going to be out, at least a month. But, that's what he said on TV, but... It might be out a little longer. They might need to do that just to revamp his character because he really had no heat.
Not only that, grow his hair out because he looked like a dork with that new haircut.
Handsome Rusev.
Yeah, and I should know about looking like a dork.
You're really going to get over as handsome Rusev.
No.
I'm so sure.
Not in this lifetime.
Yep. So, earlier on in the show, New Day
saying
and
he
Big
needs
Show
surgery.
Were selling the Jetsons WWE movie. And
if anybody out there gets that movie, I will lose total respect for that person.
Titus O'Neil came up and interrupted him, talking about the Titus brand, I guess, and then that led to a show between him and Big Show.
When will the Titus brand die?
Yeah, that would be somebody to fire if you were going to fire somebody.
Oh,
Let's see. Big Show pretty much dominated the match. 3 choke slams. Pretty much
the same thing he did to Rusev at Fastlane.
Easy does it. Yep. Bailey against Nia Jax. Nia pretty much crushed her, as we mentioned earlier, as a disqualification because she wouldn't let up. In the so-called main event.
So-called main event. I love how you put it like that.
Yeah, the Stephanie and Mick Foley. Who to fire? Mick chose to fire Stephanie. They argued. Triple H came out. He wanted to tear his leg off and beat him with it. I thought that was a good line.
Yeah.
Let's see. Careful. He will hurt Dewey and Noel. Dewey writes on the staff, and Noel wants to be a wrestler.
What's up to Code Lions in the Twitch.tv chat room? Be sure you check him out on Code of Honor at twitch.tv/Code Lions. And I still stand by what I said earlier with when we were on the phone with Corden, that the way they worked this angle, and I noticed it, that Mick Foley was limping, favoring the left side, kind of like the problems I have with my left side. And I still personally believe that they did all of this to write him off TV so that way he can go and take care of all of his health issues.
Well, I mean, pretty much he got the Mr. Sacco and the mandible claw on Triple H, and all he got was a low blow. But maybe the low blow is bad enough to where he has to go have surgery. I don't know.
Well, and also the next week they could possibly announce the firing of Mick Foley as general manager.
That could possibly happen as well. But Seth Rollins came out to make the save and pretty much showed that his injuries kind of been somewhat of a work as far as the severity of it. He might have tweaked it a little bit, but he moved around pretty nicely whenever he got in a fight with Triple H. Although Triple H did really put that crutch around his leg.
Oh, yeah.
He smacked the crap out of him with that crutch.
Yeah, you could hear that smack. And by the way, Chauncey, that's a bad hashtag in the YouTube chat. Beat up Dana Brooke.
Beat up Dana Brooke. Oh, there you go.
Code Lion says, I'm going to miss Foley. Yeah, but like I said, I think, and also thank you for hosting as well, Code Lions. I still believe that they needed to write Mick Foley off so that way he can actually get this surgery, because they've been talking about him getting this hip replacement surgery for quite some time, and he was noticeably limping, so I think, the time has come that he needed to get the surgery done. Now, with it being before WrestleMania, I know that Mick Foley really wanted to participate who wouldn't want to participate in the grandest show of the year in WrestleMania, but his health had to come first.
He might take one more bump at WrestleMania and then do it after that.
Yeah.
So basically, with that being said, that was just about Raw. To go through the Raw WrestleMania matches that they have so far, obviously there's the Battle Royal that's going to consist of a couple people. Raw Women's, you got Bayley, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, possibly Nia Jax in a women's titles match. The Raw Tag Team titles is going to be a triple threat between Anderson and Gallows defending against Cesaro, Sheamus, Enzo, and Cass. The Cruiserweight title, you got Neville against Austin Aries. U.S. title, Chris Jericho against Kevin Owens. Also, you have Seth Rollins against Triple H.
One thing we did not mention is what Chris Jericho said he's going to be doing on next week's Monday Night Raw about interviewing the real Kevin Owens. So I would like to know.
It's probably going to be like some little kid or something like that, like a Gilbert type thing.
Cole Lyon says they might film the surgery process for Holy Foley, and Rio reacts to it. And just why film it? I don't. I think that they would do it because again, it would fit into the whole reality show.
Right, that's season 2 right there.
Yeah, he starts to get the surgery, and then they progress through the season of him doing his rehab.
So, and 2 stories as far as Noel becoming a wrestler and him doing his surgery.
Yeah. So Rio, that would possibly be the reason why they would film the hip replacement surgery for their Holy Foley reality show, and I put that up in quotation marks, reality.
Yeah, but to finish the Raw matches at WrestleMania, though, obviously there's Roman Reigns, Undertaker, and then Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, and what I'm thinking is going to end up being the main event. So to get to SmackDown, we got about, 10 minutes?
Yeah, we got about 10 minutes left. So I think we should just talk about some of the main focuses of what happened on SmackDown Live, and I think the big thing that sticks out in everybody's mind is what happened with AJ Styles and Shane McMahon backstage. I know we were talking about it definitely with Corey a while ago, and we all kind of saw that the angle with Styles and McMahon coming up.
Sure.
But do you think that, I personally believe that they needed this segment to really jumpstart the feud between them?
Oh, they had to have it.
Because I don't think that backstage confrontation last week was enough.
It wasn't, and it seemed a little forced even,
Yeah.
But you can understand why AJ Styles would be pissed. But, it's just almost, kind of unbelievable, why Shane would actually get involved like that. I don't know why they're doing that to AJ Styles, honestly. And it's the management.
To everybody in the chat room who saw SmackDown, what were your reactions to the confrontation, the beatdown Styles gave to Shane McMahon? Do you guys think that this was a necessary segment that they needed for this
Oh, it was definitely
feud
necessary.
and to set up the match?
It was definitely necessary. But other than that, they had a couple women's matches just to build the Alexa Bliss against everybody match. Ms. TV with Maurice. They talked about John Cena and Nikki Bella.
Maurice has gotten better on the mic.
Yeah, she did. And she talked about Nikki screwing her out of some money or something like that.
Something to that extent when they tried to go up to renew contracts and everything like that.
And she told her to hold out for more money. But they pretty much were supposed to have Cena and Nikki Bella as guests, and as soon as Nikki Bella and Cena came out, they left.
What the hell? Code Lions says Shane O'Mac might light himself on fire with fireworks like Kota Ibushi did at a live event last week.
Did you see that? He was standing on top of a car or something like that, and I saw that.
I'm going to have to look that up later.
Yep.
I'm definitely going to have to look that up later.
Let's see, what were we saying? Oh yeah, Ms. TV with John Cena and Nikki Bella. Pretty much they were talking trash. Then Cena and Bella came out, challenged them. Miz and what's her name, Maurice weren't having it, but Daniel Bryan booked them in a WrestleMania match.
What Christie says, it was the segment was awesome and it definitely was necessary. Yeah. So.
Mojo Rawley against Dolph Ziggler. Nobody really cared about that either. Dolph Ziggler pretty much just walked out. Yep, he walked out and count out. Randy Orton promo. And then basically he took Wyatt's power with Abigail. Wyatt came on the Titantron and basically he's
just showed it was cool to smother yourself.
Baptized himself in dirt.
Now, I don't know if this is going to be another subtle change in Bray Wyatt's gimmick. But if he comes out on dirt next week on SmackDown Live, I'm going to laugh my ass off. I thought that was, his gimmick was creepy enough as it is, but now having smother himself in ashes, to me, just kind of looks silly.
I think he was just doing that to baptize himself in the darkness, so to speak, and he's going to come back renewed and even more evil than ever.
Yeah.
So this was weird to me. The American Alpha versus the Usos, and these guys have been feuding for the last 6 months, and you put them in a match, 3 weeks before WrestleMania.
It wasn't a bad match.
And it wasn't a bad match, no, but it wasn't even necessary to have the Usos beat American Alpha for them to have a feud at WrestleMania. There's no question that the Usos are next up on as far as the number one contenders.
Code Lions, Ziggler is in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal as far as I know.
Yeah, I would imagine so. But the Usos ended up winning the match. But the big thing, I guess, to end the show was that Shane McMahon came out and he said he wanted AJ Styles at WrestleMania.
Meeks, if you want to call in, man, 337-366-8951. You can be our last caller of the week. We got about 6 minutes left in the show.
But to get to the SmackDown matches that they have at WrestleMania, we got SmackDown Women's, Alexa Bliss versus the SmackDown roster. SmackDown Tag, we got American Alpha versus Usos. The Intercontinental title, Dean Ambrose versus Baron Corbin. John Cena and Nikki Bella against Miz and Maurice. AJ Styles against Shane McMahon. And Bray Wyatt against Randy Orton for the WWE title.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good, pretty solid. Quick announcement. For those of you who want to know what happened on NXT, stay tuned to my channel tomorrow. I'm gonna on my channel youtube.com/WrestleGamer. I'll talk about what happened on NXT, especially with the main event with the NXT Championship on the line of Cassius Ohno taking on Bobby Roode. So if you guys want to find out my thoughts on that, it's going to be tomorrow on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/WrestleGamer. And again, if we got about 5 minutes left in the show. Wolf says, still on the hunt for Bethany Chauncey. I don't even know what that means. Chauncey also says AJ Styles and Shane O'Mac, #BeatUpShane. So with 4 minutes left now in the show, I'm going to go to the question I always like to ask at the end of the show, Nick. Raw versus SmackDown, who won?
For me, both of them were really lackluster, predictable. I mean, like, I don't know. I found myself,
Now, what is it about SmackDown? Because SmackDown was going strong.
Right.
So what are they doing now that's just kind of taken away from their momentum of being a good show?
Well, I guess it's just the predictable WrestleMania build, I mean, because they've had these matches drawn up for like a year now, and, or at least a long time, we'll say. And they get so set on it, and it's just like, and I think it was just a lot of lazy booking this week, and then it's just like the writers are trying to write for 15, 16 WrestleMania matches. So, I don't know, I mean, to me it just seemed like some of the angles, like the SmackDown tag titles with the Usos and Alpha, like they were just lazy with that. Like Randy Orton, like burning down Wyatt's house a couple weeks ago. That was lazy, They could have done something way more with that.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of lazy booking going up to WrestleMania, and I don't know.
Cole Lyons says Raw won because of the matches and the Rollins Triple H moment.
That was the moment of the week for me.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that one. And Evil Deeds for Life says, wow, I wonder what Shane will do for a big pop at Mania. What will he jump off of? I think it all depends on what kind of match they set up with Styles and Shane McMahon.
I'm thinking it's going to have to be some kind of hardcore match.
And Christy agrees with that one. And Cole Lyons says SmackDown did some good stuff, but didn't like the Alphas versus the Usos. I think Alpha and versus Usos were okay. Chauncey says beat up Vince.
It was a decent match, but I mean, like as far as the build of like how you can like set the WrestleMania match other than having the Usos beat the tag team champions.
And Christy says I loved the Usos. If I were to pick Raw versus SmackDown this week, I would definitely have to lean towards Raw just a little bit.
But they were both pretty bad this week.
Well, I wouldn't say bad per se.
Not great.
Yeah, but not great, but not bad. Let's just kind of split the difference.
Yeah, because it's WrestleMania season, but it's just like some of it was just like, okay, this is so predictable, But I don't know. Either way, it's wrestling. We love wrestling and we watch it.
Yep.
And so we'll be back next week. So that's how that goes.
Yep, definitely. So I would like to thank everybody who's been in the chat room on Twitch first. That's Cold Lions, that's Evil Deeds for Life, and Christy26, and a good friend of mine, Rio the Squirrel. And also like to thank the people who are in the YouTube chat room, and that's Chauncey and Mark and the Lone Wolf, also known as Meeks to me. Mark, dude, we miss you, man.
Yes, indeed.
The show's just not the same without you, bro.
You get our Warrior Award. Like Eric LeGrande, I guess, who's going to be getting the Warrior Award this year. Feel the power of the Warriors, Mark.
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
He needs to start shaking the ropes.
Oh, God.
He'll feel better. Yes, indeed. What you got to say about that, Mark?
Please don't say anything.
Please don't say anything. So we still got about a minute and a half.
All right,
something like that.
says, wish they had Kalisto and Cruz tag team for the belts. Evil Deeds for Life.
Yeah, where's Kalisto at?
Evil Deeds for Life says, COH won this week. It beat Raw and SmackDown. We had better matches. Cold Lion says, great show, guys, as always. And also hashtag Markamania.
Markamania, indeed. Yeah, SmackDown didn't have any good matches. They had 2 women's matches, the Mojo Rawley and Ziggler walked out, and then the Alpha and Usos. Like, there's no good matches.
Yep, so, again, guys, thank y'all very much for tuning in, and hopefully, like I said, Mark will be here with us next week, hopefully. So, with that being said, he's Nick Nede Fukwe, and I am your friendly neighborhood Russell Gamer, Double B Billy Boudreaux, saying we'll see you next week, right here on Sports Entertainment Tonight. Bye, guys!
Peace out, y'all. Orton pose till we go out.
And I think we need our director to come and do that, and he's not there right now.
What's Jacob?